What's up, everybody? It's your girl, L. Beasley, and I'm with my PLL partner, crime, Shavana.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, America.
Hello, America. Man, PLL 716 was good. 715 was great. Thank you again, Troy and Belisario, for that wonderful PLL director debut. But I felt like 716 was a good episode. I felt it was a little bit of a letdown in one particular area, that being Lucas.
Yes, that.
But I felt from the PLL standpoint, I felt rejuvenated again. I mean, because I felt like pretty much every liar, every liar, we pretty much got some good content. The only thing that was a letdown was Lucas.
But yeah, I was really upset about that. We'll get into it. But I was so mad because I was like, man, I need this to be good. I need him to hate Hannah, really. But I guess he.
And speaking of Hannah, let's just get right into it with Hannah and Lucas. I think after we found out he knew Charles back when he was a kid, that was a plot twist we did not expect.
We did not.
So then we wanted to know more answers. Did he know about Charles becoming CC/Charlotte? Was he involved in the dollhouse?
And I was so disappointed because I was like, yo, come on. Like, why couldn't this been a little bit juicier? Juicier because, like, I just needed him to like really actually like hate the liars, like deeply hate the liars.
Yeah, I mean,
I wanted that.
It was almost like, I mean, when he, because we got teased this whole week, that was the reason you were tortured. And it was kind of like
tortured.
And it was kind of like the reason that, and for what I felt, it was almost contradictive because here is Lucas saying, do tell. Lucas is saying, I was basically emailing Charles, not knowing that Charles had turned in CC and Charlotte. All that's how we communicated through email. And every time I would email him or her, I would basically talk about Allie and her little band of girls who would, bully me or allow me to be bullied. And it was
which is weird because like, let Cece tell it. Mona told her about the girls.
Exactly, and even in the same sense, and we always said that might have been a lie, because we've always said whatever Cece said in that bunker to Allie, we never fully believed was fully true. We said some things were true.
Now that we're getting more details on stuff, her story is contradicting, and Lucas just threw it out there.
He threw it out there. And then the other frustrating thing was, the reason, that was the reason you were tortured, because I would tell her or him all these different details about you guys, and I was frustrated and all this. And it was like, but Cece was kind of a bully herself long before she revealed herself as A. In some ways, we always felt like she kind of helped influence Allie a little bit, going back to the pigskin, aka Paige days. So it was kind of like, excuse me?
I don't get it. Like,
I don't get
Did
this.
the comic book help her make this bunker?
I think the comic book definitely did.
And so that's what's really crazy, because it's like, so you have to explain this for me, because I didn't get it. So did Arya send that book to AD?
We don't know about that.
Because what second book? Because like I don't remember seeing a second book.
No, I think the second book is still a question mark for us right now. Yeah, I think the second book is still a question mark right now for us. But I did go back to episode when they were back in the dollhouse, and I found this extremely funny. Now, at the end of this episode, when at the comic book, there's that blank page and he starts writing. Now, do you remember in the dollhouse when they went to prom, what was still playing? The story is still to be unwritten. Remember that part? I thought that was
standing in the black page.
I love that song. But you remember how it says this page is still written, and then you go back to the comic book and it was unwritten? I found that when I went, I think the fifth
episode. If radio doesn't work out for you, be a detective, girl, because that was a good one.
I caught it because I wanted to go back to the dollhouse, because like you said, once we got into
I did watch the dollhouse too, though.
You watched the dollhouse? Yeah. So when we found out this information about Lucas, I kind of was like, I want to go back to the dollhouse and just see what I can kind of go see. And as I'm listening to songs like you, I love the song, and then I'm thinking, the ending is still to be unwritten.
Because they were confused about how this playlist. Because the songs was basically the playlist of Melissa's.
Yeah, Melissa's and prom 7 years ago, which went back to what CC, because we knew she was around that time. Even though she claimed she wasn't in school with them, but she was in the yearbook. So again, a lot of contradictions there. But I think overall, like you said, for Lucas and Hannah, it was like, I was happy to, see Lucas. I just felt like I didn't really get the answers I was looking for. It was a little bit of a letdown. It was like, this is it. This is the only reason you're saying they were tortured was because you complained to Charles/Cece.
And then you wrote this comic book.
And these comic books, and he or she took it from the comic books. It was just kind of like, okay, I guess I get it. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, this is a little bit let down. And then to go towards the end, it was almost obsessive with Hannah again. It was just kind of like, I pretty much spent all my money.
And it was like, you're an investor. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, And then it's like, why wouldn't no one give Hannah a chance? But like,
I understood that one because investors can be finicky.
She had some really good
she's gonna get her happy ending. There's no doubt about it. It's Hannah Mir. She's gonna get her happy ending. But
were they not meeting investors?
No, I think the idea was supposed to be that after that meeting that she missed because of the whole Caleb situation, the AD and the video game, whatever, board game, that was supposed to be the first downside of it all. And then after that, it's been kind of hard for Lucas to get people to believe. And then you got to remember, you're in Rosewood, she was public knowledge and public, she got publicly scrutinized. So I think it's just supposed to be that it's not easy being a PLL in Rosewood right now, no matter how great your designs are. So I think it's just been rough. But like I said, I don't think we've seen the last of Lucas. I still think Lucas could still be helping. Because again, unless this person again is extremely intelligent, there's only so many people who can pull all this off by themselves. Right. At this point, I still think he could be involved. And I still think he could be involved just because after that scene with Hannah, you can tell there's almost an obsessive yet loving friendship there. Right. So I still could see himself getting involved with AD. And I also felt like he knew more than what he was saying. Because did you notice how he looked at Arya?
That girl.
Because he looked at Arya when he said the person never showed up and blah, blah, blah. He kind of looked at Arya in the sense of like, I know you're involved in this somehow. Maybe he knows all the details, maybe he doesn't. Right. We constantly say AD has help. We just we haven't been able to confirm who all the help is. We know Jenna's one of them. We know Sydney's been one of them. But I still think Lucas could be involved.
I think Lucas is involved, but didn't really know he was involved.
I'm not sure. I can never tell with Lucas.
And now he's going to get involved.
Yeah, I think he's still involved.
I think he's going to do how he did with Mona.
Okay, I think he's still involved. I think either he's going to change his allegiance at some point because of Hannah.
Yeah.
Or he's involved and it's just going to be, I had no choice. I had to do this, blah, 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 blah.
So now he's going to be one of the sacrificed death.
Might be. We did say Lucas could be one of those possible character.
Right now, character
deaths that we could see. So you never know. Speaking of death, possible sacrificial deaths, I love the scene of Mona and Hannah. I thought that was deep, and I see both sides of that argument because again, I understand Mona in the sense of, hey, I have grown a lot. I have tried to show you guys how much I care for you and how much I am sorry.
She drew blood.
Yeah, I understand it, but I also understand not necessarily Hannah's perspective, but the girl's perspective in the sense of, look at it from our perspective. You started this whole thing.
Right.
And again, we know that Allie bullied you. We didn't. We stood there.
Right.
But you pretty much tortured us and you started again. And now if this AD is revealed to be the person who recruited and started it for Mona, then it may be a different story.
Right.
But right now they're still under the assumption
this is your fault. This game started with you.
Started with you.
And with my favorite line though is how many times I gotta sacrifice myself for you guys. To save you guys. How many times I gotta save you guys.
Yeah, and I think that is the line that has a lot of like Mona fans and even just regular POL fans kind of like, oh wow, could Mona be the one who ends up? And we've constantly said it. At this point, we would love for Mona to get her happy ending because I love Mona. I think she is a little bit misunderstood and I really do think her relationship with Hannah keeps her coming back and she wants to do the right thing. So I really do hope Mona gets her happy ending. But if she doesn't, we have constantly said either she will be seduced by the dark side, aka
because it's addicting, like what we told you last week.
Exactly. Or she will end up being a sacrificial kind of lamb and end up being in the crossfire. I think the biggest question is if she was a sacrificial kind of lamb in the moment, who would she end up protecting? Hannah would be the obvious one, but wouldn't it be almost some type of interesting poetic justice? Alice, if it's Allie, like the main person.
We're still here.
We're still here.
So yeah, it's I see that happening because by this time I'm pretty sure she's gonna know that Allie's pregnant.
Yeah, but she knows. Yeah, one of the sneak peeks they show, it's actually cute. Emily's not. She doesn't want to say I love you too while Mona's in the room, and yeah, you gotta see that. And Mona's basically like, Emily, you can tell Allie you love her. We've known about that since like back in the day when we were making brownies, and it was just making me laugh because I was just kind of like, oh, Mona's like Emerson Shipper. Yeah. But yeah, I think Mona could definitely be a sacrificial lamb. It's just a matter, like I said, would it be kind of all the liars? Would it be Hannah? Would it be like a Caleb? Yeah. Would it be for Allie? Like you said, the woman who you can't really stand out of all the girls.
You know what scene I would like really, really love though? I need a Mona and a Toby scene. Just like, I don't know, I just want that. But
she wants a Mona and a Toby scene. She wants a Mona and a Toby scene.
I'm never gonna get it. And so another thing I loved was Hannah and Spencer.
Hannah, Spencer, and Caleb.
It was. I forget about him because I'm over it.
Well, I think it was dope because we saw the sneak peek early with the girls kind of arguing and Spencer letting know her mistake by using Rollins' credit card and signing her name, and basically saying, as soon as he gets these receipts, we're screwed, or at least I'm screwed. You guys are, but at least I'm screwed.
Right.
And Hannah kind of being upset, and understandably so, but just not necessarily thinking like, why the hell were you drunk, Spencer? And I love Spencer just kind of saying, because I was upset.
Yeah.
And you had a pretty good view.
A very great view, honey.
Like, come on, I don't have to say it. We don't have to rehash our stuff. We've moved on. I am still very happy for you and Caleb because at the end of the day, I think she truly does want both of those, people to be happy because they are important to her.
She just sacrifices her heart so much.
And I think that was the thing. And that was the reason I liked the conversation because I felt like we've never heard Hannah kind of admit her part in this kind of destructive love triangle that kind of took place. Even though I don't count it, it's not your typical Beverly Hills 90210. It's not Brenda, Dylan, and Kelly type stuff.
Oh, Lord,
it's not Peyton, Lucas, and Brooke off One Tree Hill. It wasn't that type. And that was the one thing I liked about it. They handled this with true maturity when they did it. I just always felt, and let's get into this.
Yep.
There's always been a very mixed opinion about Spaleb in general because Spencer dated Hannah's ex-boyfriend and honestly the love of her life. We all know that Caleb is the love of her life. Yeah. And my thing is, me and you both have a code as girlfriends today. We are friends and whatnot, and we have a very strict code in the sense of I don't necessarily like the idea of anybody dating my ex-boyfriend, especially somebody I was in love with.
Exactly.
That being said though, if it ever happened between us, the way Spencer did it, I would have been able to respect. And I think I would have been able to respect.
Well, you don't want none of my exes, girl.
Girl, you don't want none of mine. I mean, they exes for a reason. But at the same time, the way Spencer handled it, if you just take out the equation of, oh, it's wrong, don't date your ex. Let's just take the whole girl code out of it. Yeah. And let's just get to the straight facts. If you just focus on the straight facts, Spencer did it in a way that you should do as a friend, which is she went to Hannah and pretty much asked permission, which she doesn't have to do.
Not at all.
But out of respect and love for this friend that she's had long before Caleb came into any of their lives, she says, I want to know if you're okay with this. I don't even know if he feels the same way at the time, but I just want to know because if not, I won't try it. Right. And Hannah gave her blessing. And Spencer went ahead and did it. You could tell at the end of the day, I think she always questioned it. I think Hannah questioned it, but my thing was with Hannah, don't let pride get in the way. If you still have feelings for Caleb, you should have been able to say
you're engaged to somebody, I get it, but that's the love of your life.
That's the love of your life, and that was my thing. And I'm like, yeah, you can get mad at Spencer. Oh, you don't date exes. That doesn't mean she deserves this. At the end of the day, she asked. She made sure both were good with it. Caleb was clearly on board, even though he still had feelings for Hannah. And Hannah gave her blessing. So I do like her kind of admitting, finally. You alright? Yeah. Alright. I do like her finally admitting, you know what, and it's not necessarily a blame game. It doesn't mean Hannah's not like we're saying Hannah's to blame. It just means take the responsibility for your role in this, in the sense of I did give her permission to love you, and I do need to take responsibility for the fact that we played a dangerous game. We put ourselves in a vulnerable situation where we knew this could possibly happen, and then we lied about it. We didn't tell her at the beginning, and that's not even counting all the snappiness Caleb had when Hannah was missing because he was
Oh my God! Don't even bring that up because that just made me so mad. Like this was y'all stupid ass plan.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So it was kind of like I finally did like that, and I even like Caleb kind of realized that because he didn't need to be told, you know, while you're over here breaking down Spencer, I was behind that door. And while my heart was breaking, our heart was more so breaking for Spencer because Spencer is in a rock between a hard place right now because she's trying to protect me, she's trying to protect you, and she's trying to protect herself and she can't. So I did like that they finally kind of said that. And I love even Caleb and Spencer scene again. We kind of got closure in the sense of you deserve to be happy and we see that they can be friends. And again, I like that it's realistic. This isn't gonna just be, oh, buddy. Hey, Caleb. Oh,
like, I'm so glad you guys are friends again.
Oh my God, it's not gonna be that.
No, it's not because there was real life emotions.
Real life emotions.
Well, I mean, like on screen real life.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, Spencer really did love Caleb, and I think she will always love Caleb. I think her love for Caleb is different than the love she had for Toby. But I do believe when she said, "You like me, but I love you," I honestly think all of that was true.
Because that was probably like her first feeling since
she said that in her breakup. She was like, after Toby, my heart just kind of stopped and I never thought I'd be able to love again, and now I think I was able to find that with you, but you didn't find it with me. And I respect the fact that they understood that they had a simultaneous, you know, breakup, and I love that. It's just I like these scenes because I think it's realistic to what would really happen. Spencer and Caleb can be cool, but it's gonna be some tense moments, but I love him just kind of saying, we kind of owe you. And her thing is, no, you don't. I made a mistake. I got drunk. And it's like, yeah, you did, but I like
there was
they're
a
all,
reason behind
I
it.
like all collectively. It's like we're not blaming each other. But at the end of the day, we're not going to let you burn. And I hope you understand that promise.
And that's why I was like, I don't. That's what I like when Hannah was like, I can't let Spencer go down.
We promised her, and I loved it. And it was kind of like we promised her no, and I love Caleb just like freaking. I'm gonna
like,
break the
"Break
pipe. I love it. I was like, okay, you know what? And again, I think that's the beauty of this show. Beyond the love stories and the mystery, again, that friendship, that family bond, that no matter what, no. I'm not letting Spencer down. I'm not going to let her go down. We promised her we would fix this. I'm going to fix it. So I love that because I felt like it was so important. It's not about who's wrong. Was Hannah wrong? Was Caleb wrong? Was Spencer wrong? It's the fact that mistakes were made on all three sides and they were able to find their way, or they're finding their way slowly but surely back to happiness. But at the end of the day, that friendship stays true between all of them. And I love that. So I thought that was dope for Spencer, Hannah, and Caleb as well to kind of have that closure.
You know, and Spencer, she was going through it this episode.
Boy, oh boy. And speaking of Spencer, as you mentioned, just constantly going through. Every time I think she's gonna get a break, I'm just
no, not at all.
That's why
I need to quit.
Well, see, then let's get on Sparko. Okay, we opened up the Spencer dialogue pretty much with her getting interrogated first by Mr. What is it, Barry?
Officer Barry, the one that started this too.
So he's kind of getting a little snippy. It's so funny to see him kind of have a snippy attitude because he's normally the nice guy. He's kind of delivering the bad news.
But hey, he is the bad news right now. And just so you know, he let Charlotte out.
But it just cracked me up because he's being snippy, and I love just Spencer because even though Spencer will have her rattle moments, it's just like she's just pure. At the end of the day, she may be a Drake, but she still was raised by Hastings, and she's still just like right there. And I love when she's like, so did you talk to Detective Marco Furia? Yeah, I talked to him, and then I was unzipping his pants. Like, I love the fact she's like, look, don't try to make this seem like I did something wrong, and at the same time covering her tracks. And then Marco comes in, and I understand Marco is in between a rock and a hard place. I really do, because I honestly do.
I never get that scenario, but continue.
Between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay, I'll explain it to you later. or people in the comments will explain it to you later. But nevertheless, I understand where Marco is at because I honestly do believe he cares about Spencer. I think he wants to form something with her. I think the problem is he does believe in justice and finding out what happened, and rightfully so, because most cops in Rosewood didn't. So I respect that. But then with Spencer, she just has to stop playing these games in a sense of going to visit him. That was more so my frustration with Spencer.
It pissed me off, but like, she disappointed me.
She disappointed, and I love the conversation between her and Emily. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I did like her kind of just tell her, don't overestimate, someone's feelings for you, and then you go and do it anyway. But it was kind of like, for one, you're making yourself look more and more guilty because now you pretty much asked him to drop this case. So at this point, when you are telling him that, like, please drop this case, it was just kind of like, okay, well, if you're not involved, he knows definitely somewhat or love is involved. So it's kind of like, come on, you're pretty much giving it away. You're putting him in a hard position where he can't necessarily, he's not in love with you from what I can see. Y'all haven't even been together long enough for this kind of to happen. You struggled with Toby back when he was a cop in these type of situations. So how you think Marco's gonna drop it, I don't know. But again, I do like this snarky kind of, Hastings lawyer type Spencer when he calls and he's like, I want my flash drive back. And she's basically like, what flash drive? To have this flash drive, you would have had to let me in your apartment at night. And I'm kind of like, and I thought that was stupid on his part anyway. I understood why he opened up the door because again, he cares for her and he's thinking maybe I can open up. But it was still stupid because it's like, if anything is said, she can always go back later and be like, well, he did let me into his apartment and blah, 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 blah. And then everything you guys say could be, obviously compromised or in turn to a he said, she said story. So I am interested to see where Sparko goes from here. We know Toby's coming back, not this upcoming episode, but the following episode, Toby will be back. I'm interested to see in what way he'll be back, how it's going to affect Spencer. We know Marco and Spencer are going to have some more scenes based on some sneak peeks we've already gotten for this next episode. But I'm just...
watch those.
Well, I'll show you too as soon as we're done with this video. But yeah, I definitely just want to see where this is going to go. But at this point, I think it would be hard. I think the only way this could be revived is if, which we know they are because they're going to get their happy ending as far as the liars, is when Spencer is cleared of Rollins. All of the girls are cleared of Rollins or Archer's murder.
And I have a question. Is that Toby they're kissing in the sneak peek?
Yes, in one of the sneak peeks, yes, that is a Spoby moment. It's just a matter of is that 7:18, is that 7:19, is that 7:20?
No, I need that like tomorrow.
So we kind of have to see, but I know he's not in 7:17, but he will be back for 7:18 according to reports. So I'm excited to see Toby and kind of again what form he comes back in and how that affects
Hopefully he's a cop again.
I don't don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm very, very interested to see kind of where that goes. But that being said, Spencer does get a little bit off the hook, but Marco knows obviously somebody did something with the pipes right around the time we're supposed to be getting these receipts. He clearly knows. He just doesn't know who did it or, you know, who's fully responsible. But I am interested to see where this is going to go because it's only going to get darker. And Spencer's just known for, unfortunately, just not having good days.
I mean, she's always in the police station.
She's always
the first one. Person of interest.
She's always just the one. Like I said, all the girls have gone through it, but to me, the main two for me has always been Spencer and Allie.
Yep.
And then after that, you can go Hannah, probably Emily, and then Aria. All right. And speaking of Aria, you know,
this bitch.
big shout out to Lucy Hill because we are getting a different Aria we've never seen before.
Exactly.
We've seen different sides of Aria. We've seen compassionate Aria.
I think she's bipolar, yeah.
We've seen compassionate Aria. We've seen freaked out Aria. We've seen bitch can see Aria.
Oh my god, I love that line.
Love that line. I'm ready to hang a sign. Bitch can see. That's one of the classic lines of PLL. But we've seen different versions of Aria. We've seen hopeless romantic Aria. We've even seen, like we said, a little bit more frustrated, mad Aria, like you said, back when she was got into it with her father Byron. We even saw it a little bit with Meredith.
And you know, remember she like trashed his office.
Yeah,
she's not surprised.
We've seen her trash 2 offices, and now she's freaking trashed. Remember, we saw her trash Byron's office, and then she trashed Ezra's apartment, which is / his office.
You know what? That girl got some issues.
She got some issues.
She's bipolar.
She might be bipolar, but nevertheless, now she's trashed another room.
Oh my god, it was so
dear to my heart. She trashed the innocent
it was so cute.
baby room. We're gonna talk about innocent next, but getting back to Aria, and you do feel for Aria.
First of all, can I say I predicted something?
Okay, what did you predict?
Okay, Spencer caught her. Yes, she did.
Well, Spencer caught a moment, but see, the problem is with this. After Aria destroys the room, she doesn't realize she's lost her earring because she panicked when Emerson, you know, I'm just going to say Emerson so we can just keep it moving quicker. Emerson comes back earlier than expected. We'll get into the reasons why later. And you can tell she got spooked, like, oh crap, I got to get out the house. And then she just started acting like, you know, Humpty Dumpty bumping into everything. And I'm like, okay. Clearly you didn't notice why you wore earrings to this job. I'll never understand in the first place. But again, these are Pretty Little Liars. Why do they wear heels in the woods? So this is Pretty Little Liars. It's just,
you know what? I've always had that same question, but you know, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one. I'm pretty sure the people in the comments will let us know they feel the exact same way.
Like, but you is running. Why do you got on stuff?
I got heels except for Emily. Emily normally has on the proper shoes. But nevertheless, Emerson comes home early. I'm still trying to figure out why you're wearing earrings on this job anyway. You never want to leave anything that could fall off that you can't keep track of in the dark. Even I know that, and I'm not even close to being in dark Aria mode right now.
I'm a criminal, so I know. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. She has no warrants. Well, maybe not here.
No, I don't.
Okay, okay. In this city or
everywhere?
Okay. I know I don't have any warrants. Nevertheless, let's get into the point. Aria ends up dropping her earring, and I was kind of happy it didn't turn into a full-on interrogation there because I do think it needs to be a slow burn. I did think Spencer noticed it. Obviously, thought it was weird, but I couldn't tell if it was more so I'm not gonna push it because of the situation. I'm not gonna push it because it can't be true. You know what I mean? Type things. But I did see that look in Spencer's eyes. She picks up the earring, like, even when she said, oh, I thought I felt something drop. But, you know, sometimes with Spencer's like, and I mean, even Allie and Emily, once they kind of got up, were kind of looking like, wait, what? You know what I mean? But they're so upset at the time, they just kind of let it go. And fine, so be it. But I do still think that Spencer could be the one to discover it. Because,
like, this is one thing that kind of, like, upsetted me. Because, like, even when I saw Spencer's face when, Aria was like, well, that's not true. When Hannah was like, he would never hurt me. Like, I know any of you guys wouldn't betray me. All that whole stupid speech. And she's like, well, that's not true. You know, Spencer's face kind of looked like, what?
Right. And I
think it's like, because Spencer knows firsthand what it's like to kind of go against the liars. Even if it's like good intentions and bad intentions and stuff like that. So when that earring came about, it's like everything was kind of clicking to Spencer. And I agree with you. It was just not the point, place, and time to, you know, be like, hold on, no, bitch, come back.
Right. Well, I think that's the interesting as we continue, because it looks like we're gonna get Dark Aria for at least maybe 2 more, if not 3 more episodes. So it doesn't look like this is gonna be a quick run over. It looks like we're gonna be seeing this for a minute, and her constantly being in a compromising situation. I felt bad for her as she was crying, you know, because I do really think, you know, I honestly do feel like she does feel like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And to see the heartbroken faces of Emily and Allison and the frustration, you can tell she feels bad. But whatever is in this file, which we got the sneak peek based on the previews for this upcoming episode, it sounds like at some point Aria made, which was again another kind of, again, I'm gonna wait to get more information, but this was kind of another small letdown, kind of like with Lucas. we
Yeah, I
find
wanted her to
out
be pregnant.
we find out that she basically almost, at least from what we can tell from the previews, that she had a police report at some point. That
So I'm guessing
called
kind of
him
like a secondary rape report.
Statutory.
Why did I say secondary?
I knew what you meant.
Statutory.
Rape. But yeah, it sounds like maybe at some point, maybe she tried to do a police report. She was thinking about putting in a police report about Ezra. I assume this is one of the times around time maybe after the book.
I'm thinking more so the book because that was when it was like really hard for her.
Right.
And she had just found out about Allison.
And in the preview, she's basically saying, you know, I never sent that, but it was just kind of like, what caused this? Was that the only thing? What was the reason behind it? So I'm still interested. I'm not going to judge it based off a 5-second little preview.
Right.
But
because they like to lie to us, obviously.
Exactly. They like to
that was the
this
reason
one
you were
down
tortured.
area. Exactly. So I am not sold that that's the only reason that this is why she's tripping out. But again, I think for us, until we get more details about what's in this file for Arya, and then we get more clear intentions on what Arya's doing, because right now she really just looks like a scared young girl who's doing this because she doesn't want her secret to come out. Or
she can handle it.
Well, young woman, young adult, but she really looks like a scared person right now. Not necessarily I'm doing this to help my friends or I'm doing this to get to UAD so I can reveal who you are.
I gotta cover my ass.
Exactly. So I think as we find more about what's in this file, hopefully next episode based on the previews,
I'ma need it.
I think we can start really figuring out kind of where Arya fits, because it's hard. I can have sympathy for her, but I can also get angry at her because like until I really know your full motivations as Arya, I feel like I can't really say or understand too much of what you're doing because I don't know if you're about you or if you're about yourself as well as your team.
And that has me thinking like, okay, so the whole book signing and all that, like were you pushing Ezra to do the book signing with or without you because you knew you had to do this task for AD, or did you intentionally want to be there because like I think it was like the perfect cover up.
I think it was a little bit.
And was AD supposed, or was Arya supposed to be at that school? Like, there's some things like I kind of don't understand.
Well, I think that was like you said, the school part where they go, deliver this whole little thing that Hannah had to go pick up. I think that was a big question mark because we're constantly kind of left with, was Arya supposed to get that? Was AD supposed to get it? Was it something that, was it just a hoax, like we said, to get Emily and Allison out of the house? Whatever the case may be.
And like, how did you know Emily and Allison were gonna go? It's just, and Arya had a lot of, like manipulation doing that because she was like, oh yeah, the locker, and I'm like, come on, dummy.
Yeah, but they always normally give it away with little things. It's just a matter of which girl or girls are going to catch it out of the group. But I definitely want to see where this is going to go with Arya. But like we said, until we get more information on what's in this file, hopefully again that'll be in this upcoming episode, I think we can't fully really understand everything with Arya yet.
Right.
I think that's the problem. So we just kind of got to see. But right now I'm still frustrated with Arya because dang it, you made my innocence sad.
I know, that was so sad.
And my poor Emerson. Oh my God.
Okay. Well, cute moment.
Well, not poor, just frustrating because I was like, dang it, why did you do this to Emily's room that she made for Allie and the baby? Like,
so did you stay up all night to make that room?
I think that was supposed to be ideas. If you notice, when we first get our first glimpse, she kind of has on the same outfit.
Oh yeah, we talked about it last week.
Yeah, so I think at this point it was supposed to be Emily, kind of stayed over, but probably was up all night looking through stuff as Allie was asleep and knocked out, which I love because I've always loved Emily. That's one of my favorite characters along with Spencer. So I've always, like I said, liked Emily as a character. So for me, it was nice to kind of see that moment. I like the banter, and I like how again we're not just rushing into the love stage. It's not after her whole kind of confession and acknowledgement to Paige that, obviously she does care something for Emily. Some people were kind of like, okay, I just wanted to tell Emily now. And I'm kind of like, I like how we had this slow build up. And I really like the Emily Spencer scene. Yeah. Some people kind of didn't like it because they were like, oh, here's Spencer being in control. And I'm like, no, what she's saying is true. Just like what Emily told her, don't overestimate someone's feelings for you. I like Spencer kind of saying the same thing to Emily in the sense of, what is your plan? I'm not really questioning Allie's feelings. I think all the liars know. I think Allie has always loved you. I think Allie just doesn't know how to identify love, is afraid to speak it out into existence because of her past.
And I can say this, Arya made a good point when they found out, Emily had feelings for Allie in the book library. Well, I was about to say bookstore, but Will did, because she was like, just because she didn't love you maybe the way you wanted to, she goes, I don't know, right? But she did love you. Yeah, so they've always reinsured the love. Well, right, which I like about.
Well, yeah, like I said, there's always been a love friendship there for no matter what, for all the girls, even Spencer and Allison with their down drag out fights over the years. There's always some love there, but I also think, like we said, I think that all the liars in their heart knows that Allie and Emily have a connection, and it goes beyond friendship. I think they just knew. Emily was always willing to admit it and acknowledge it, as where Allie has had to grow and get to that point, and she does get to that point in this episode. But I like Spencer.
I cried.
I did too. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna get to that But with Spencer, I felt like, again, and it wasn't about her being controlling. Her thing is, I don't even think she was questioning Allie's feelings. Her thing is, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I get what you're doing. You're building up this crib, but what is kind of the plan? Are you raising this baby together? Is Allie basically almost a surrogate now for your child, and she's going to give birth and then disappear, or it goes to you and then you become the mother? So it kind of forced, even though it kind of forced, it to be kind of like a hormonal moment as Allie and Emily get into a fight the next morning over eating vitamins. And that was just so like,
I loved it.
Marriage, like when you eat your vitamins, you need to eat something. It's just kind of like, good Lord, okay, fine. But it was just.
I loved Allie's little snark.
I loved Allie's little snark. Like, I knew this was going to bring some hormone changes. I didn't think it was going to be you. You know what I mean? Like, I love that line, but I felt like, oh, you guys are already like a cute little married couple. But as I'm laughing, that's what I liked about Spencer's conversation with her. And then when they get to the school and they're kind of waiting on AD or whoever to come pick up this, this whatever the hell it was, drive that Hannah went to go get as part of her task. It again forced them to have this conversation in the sense of, I'm sorry, I was snarky and blah, 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 blah. And it kind of forced them to both kind of admit the same thing. I'm scared. I'm scared that I don't know what I'm doing. I know I want this baby, but I'm scared that I'm going to have to do it alone. I'm scared that even if we do it together, we don't know what we're doing.
Paris.
Yeah, exactly. I love that little line. I was like, did anybody catch it after she said Paris? Any place you could have said you said Paris? I was like, oh,
that's
Emily.
your little place.
I know. I was like, Emily, I'm so happy you said Paris. But I do like the fact that they both in that hallway scene kind of admitted how they feel, because they both feel like we're walking on eggshells around each other. Because I feel, Allie's whole thing is, I feel like I'm in a test mode with you. I feel like if I say one wrong thing or I do one wrong thing, this is going to be over and you're going to leave. And I think Emily's like, well, I don't want to set you off. I don't want to seem controlling because it's your body and you're really doing this for me, but we really haven't agreed on anything. Then, of course, I was mad that they separated, but after Allie gets pushed down by possibly Mona, we'll get to that in a minute. Allie, Emily, I love Emily being super protective. Like, no, I don't care about the drive. I don't care who comes picks it up. We're going home. You're pregnant with our baby. Heck no. Then, of course, I love Emily again, just being super protective, grabbing the candlestick, the Pottery Barn candlestick, as Allie called it, and being like, I'm like ready to knock whoever the heck is in this room over the head.
She was going to knock our
But I just love these moments because, again, it's showing the growth of Emily and Allison. They're still going to have moments where they're frustrated with each other, but it shows they're doing a better job of talking it out. Compared to season 5 when Allie first came back, they never really talked about their feelings. They never talked about that whole makeout or lovemaking session that they had in season 5, episode 5. They never really talked about that because then soon after that incident.
Remember that episode?
Oh yeah, that was a classic episode. That was a classic episode for so many. And that was also the 100th episode. So I always remember that episode because it was so iconic. But they never really talked about it because around the time that all that stuff happened, then that's when they started thinking Allie was A at the time, and then Mona got involved. They thought Allie killed Mona, all that jazz. So they never really got a chance to discuss their feelings, and we know both of them can shut down, particularly Allie. So I just felt like all these scenes were great because whether they were frustrating, snarky, or romantic, it opened up the door for our final scene, the scene that made us tear up,
burnt my hair off,
which was that Allie finally admits what she feels.
She said it.
She said, "I love you," and I love the fact that she was kind of like, Paige tried to get me to say it, but I didn't want to say it to her because I felt like Paige helped her get there. But her thing was, I do want to say that I love you for Emily. I'm ready to say it.
Right. And I like that part because like she was gonna say it then, and I guess she kind of stopped
herself and I think even maybe at the time that she was talking to Paige, and we talked about this last time, I don't even think she fully understood how much in a daze she was describing. I know how I feel when she looks at me. I know how I feel, when she talks to me. I know I want to be a better person because of who she is, blah, blah, blah. I don't even think she understood, like, you do realize you're in love with her. And that's why I love Paige being like, you already answered my question whether you realize it or not. And it was kind of like, that was confirmation. Now she's like, I just want to tell Emily. So I thought it was romantic. I love Allie being the aggressor. I love Emily just being like so shocked, like, what do you mean? And I did love that part. I love that she was in. Yeah, like kind of just like, wait, what? And you can tell this kind of shock, like, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't know if this is the case. And then you can tell this part of me, I'm so excited, I'm so happy, this is what I've been waiting on. And I love that they brought the whole back. You told me not to do this until I know. And she's like, do what? And then she's like, and do what? She's like, do what? And then she takes her hands and takes like this and kissed her. I loved it. That's innocent fans. We should be happy. And I love Marlene King for going on Twitter right after. So like all the innocent fans who were sending death threats and stuff, you're welcome, and they're still all love. I was like, thank you, Marlene King. Because when we talked about this, I think after 7/14,
death threats, girl.
And we talked about this after 7/14. I was very frustrated with not all innocent fans. All innocent fans aren't like this. Some innocent fans who were just
they're just like
impatient and and it was just like, oh, I hate this. You're forcing
kind of
it
like
through the
how
baby.
the whole Toby thing was, you know, when Toby and Spencer first started, because we didn't get like their like real second kiss, I guess, until after, you know, they were in the hotel together. So I like the slow process they do with our
because it does need to be growth.
Like, even with like the whole Hannah and Caleb, they had their whole little snarky comments and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people weren't necessarily mad at the comment. A lot of people just seemed to be pissed. They felt like the pregnancy was forcing them to be together, and I'm like, no, don't look at it like that. It's forcing them to finally open up their hearts and really start talking about what they feel, because now this baby connects them for life if Allie chooses to have it. And once Allie chose to have it, it's like no matter what, now you are all connected again. You're gonna be connected through friendship anyway, but this baby will connect Allie and Emily for a lifetime. So now it's kind of like it forces them to finally start.
Like I said, the AD is the ultimate frenemy. It goes back to that, because it's like they somehow help. Somehow helps. And I think every AD
or A and now AD.
I think everyone has kind of always wanted that Emily and Allison connection, because like even back with Mona forced those notes, you know, for her to read those notes and open those wounds again. Cece, you know, it was kind of like you're protecting her, blah blah. Even with Sarah, they always want Emily to like be in love.
Well, I think that's the problem with all the liars. We've always said none of the liars, they don't know how to let the girls be single. It's like they always have to kind of, and I guess for high school I understood it, because it's not uncommon for, you know, girls in high school to go kind of from relationship to relationship, guy to guy, not necessarily in a sexual way, but just in a relationship way. It's high school, you're having fun, you're dating, you're getting to know people. But I think, like we said, this AD seems to be interesting in that way. And I'm happy that Emerson at this point, we can finally see that they're headed in the right direction.
Yes, and I'm so excited.
And I'm so excited. So, and as I said, it's been a long time coming, but it was worth it. So big shout out to Marlene King and the entire writing staff, because like I said, it's been a slow burn, but I like the way that the slow burn happened. I didn't feel the baby forced it. All it did was it forced them to open up about their feelings and really start thinking about their truth.
And it just made me more happy, because when Emily decided to give off her eggs, she really was she wanted to help a family.
She wanted to help a family, not knowing it was going to be her family. Exactly. So I think it is ironic. I wanted to help start a family, and I love even Hannah when she first told Hannah, like, whoever ends up having this baby is going to be so blessed and lucky and whatnot. And it's kind of like this comes back full circle. So I'm very excited, and I'm very excited just for Allison, because again, this just shows the major arc of Allison, going back from the pilot episode to all the way now. This really just shows the growth of Allison, and to see her kind of grow to this point has been wonderful. And big again shout out to Sasha Peterson, because like I said, she continues to, you know, rave. We always talk about Troy and Bellisario, we've always talked about Janelle Parrish, but I think Sasha's right up there with my top 3 female actresses as far as like the liar group.
Definitely, because they have the most growth, and they all have growth. Let's like not downplaying Ashley, Shay, and Lucy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like these characters are very hard to play.
Yeah, they're very hard to play. And just to see the emotion, like I said, Sasha in that last episode telling Paige how she feels about Emily. See that lost days in her look. Face, and just, it was like, I felt like, wow, Sasha, if I didn't know you, I think you would be in love. I'm like, Troy and I've seen so many different layers of her long before PLL and after PLL, but in PLL to see her grow, and then to see the director side, to see Janelle Parrish kind of blossom. I think those, like I said, for me,
came a long way from the Bratz.
Those are probably my top 3 actors on the show, but I love everybody. Going into this next episode, 7/17, I'm interested to see kind of where we're going to go with this, because there was, especially with Mona, because there was a weird moment with all the great content we got from Mona in 7/16. There was a weird moment after she goes off on Hannah. She claims, you know, we know her and Hannah went to the school after Hannah drops off whatever AD made her pick up from the computer store. She goes and puts it in the locker. Now, we never see Mona at the school. We never saw her in the school. We never saw her in the car, in the parking lot, nothing. We don't see her there at all. We know that Emily and Allison were there watching. As they're talking, they hear what sounds like a door opening or somebody kind of running. They go, they get separated. Allison ends up pushed down on the stairs. Emily's basically like, okay, we're going home. You're pregnant, you know, with our baby. I want you to say
so could it possibly be that Emily heard Mona and then Allison got pushed by AD?
It's possible. Allison said it happened so fast she couldn't see who it was. So like I said, maybe they did see Mona. Maybe, or like I said, maybe Emily and Allison thought they saw Mona. That's where Emily was running after, and then AD pushes Allison. Was it possible that Mona was there the whole time and pushed her? I just thought it was weird, because we never saw Mona there, and then she leaves this like kind of cryptic voicemail that kind of had some contradicting things. It was kind of like, yeah, your friends freaked out and like pushed me around. It was kind of like, wait, what? Like, okay, this doesn't sound right. So I'm very curious if they're going to address that, because we know in 7/17, based on the previews and the sneak peeks that we've already gotten, Mona will be involved, because now she's involving herself in the game, because her thing is now kind of like, Yeah, I'm here. You guys need me because I love in the preview. Spencer's Shimona walks in and she's like, "What did I miss?" And Spencer's like, "An invitation?" Like, what are you? I love Spencer Mona banter of Spencer because she's like, "What did I miss?" And she's like, "An invitation? Like, what are you doing here?" So I am curious because it does look like Mona's now really about to get involved. Yeah. So I want to just see how this is kind of how all the liars are gonna react to it, and then more importantly, is Mona again in this midst of being with the liars? Is she gonna be seduced by AD, or is she gonna continue to be a friend? We also know in 7/17 we're gonna get a liar engagement. And based on the previews, they try to hint. Obviously, Ezria, despite being in limbo, still. We know they're already engaged, so it's not Arya. So then that kind of leaves basically at this point Spencer, Emily, or Hannah. And at this point for me,
going to jail, so
she's not going to jail. She's not going to jail. But at this point for me, it's Caleb and it's Hannah and Caleb. I think that makes the most sense based on the storyline. We know that Ashley will be back. Synopsis. No, I don't know. You are creating a totally different word, and I don't even think it has a meaning. But that's besides the point. But based on the storyline for this upcoming episode for 7/17, we know Ashley Mirren, our favorite mama,
right? I like her.
is coming back. So she's supposed to be coming back apparently after learning some frightening information. So I'm curious to know what that frightening information is, and I hope it's nothing that concerns her as far as her life. But then it also says she also wants to talk to Caleb about his intentions for Hannah. And I think at this point, based on the Hannah baby talk that she kind of had with Emily, we know at this point it kind of makes sense for Hannah and Caleb to be the next one. Spencer, while she is somewhat still in limbo with Marco and Sparko, and then you got still Toby missing. Actually, we know he's coming back.
Spoby.
So she's still kind of thank you for saying that right, Spoby. We know she's still in limbo, and then I think Emily Allison still might end up getting engaged before this series is over. I just think it's too. For one, Allison, as far as I know, is not even in this episode, and then second, I just think it would be too early. And don't rush the process. Let it marinate. Let it marinate like a good steak, like some good chicken.
Steak.
No, I gotta say some good chicken, like some good meat in the freezer. Let it marinate.
And then that's the best way.
Yeah, and then go ahead and throw it on the grill and let it sizzle and get that great taste. So for me at this point, I think it's gonna be Hannah and Caleb. I think he's gonna do it based on previews. I think he might end up doing like a reincarnation of the tent scene. So I'm interested just to kind of see it. And then I'm interested, I hate to say it, I'm kind of interested to see just kind of how they're gonna announce it. Just kind of like with Emerson, I'm kind of interested once all the girls are together, and even the guys, just like how the moments are gonna be. Because I mean, they all typically are normally happy when the other one's happy. So I'm just interested to see kind of how it's gonna happen. But I do think the engagement will be Caleb, one of your favorite couples.
Wedding.
Yes, so I'm very.
I'm starting to like them again, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Well, you always were a big Halo fan. I've always been a Spoby fan.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. So I'm very, very much so interested. And then we also know Mary Drake will be back this episode, which is going to be huge.
She like suffocates. Well, not
she doesn't say. She just puts her hand in a very freaky, scary way. And that drive made me laugh. As soon as I saw the scene, I just bust out laughing. Like, I love Andrea Parker, but I was like, Andrea, you just made me with this drive. So I'm very interested because based on the previews, Peter Hastings is also back in this episode. So is Veronica Hastings. So you got Mary Drake in the picture, and then you got the Hastings family.
So you got the real mama and the mama.
And then you got your biological mother and then your adopted mother. Then you have your father. So I'm just interested to kind of see what's going on. So I'm interested to just kind of see what's going on in that episode, because they look like they're all kind of freaked out, and I just want to see kind of what Mary and Spencer are going to talk about, because we've said for a while now we've been waiting on
needed this
Spencer talk,
and I need to know her full backstory. So I need at least 5 minutes of Mary Drake telling us her life.
I almost fine with just eliminating the whole episode and just making it Mary Drake and Spencer, but I know
I am good with that too.
I know that won't satisfy every fan, so I'm very, very excited to see kind of where this goes. Because like you said, it should be good. So we're finally going to get a Mary Spencer moment, and then
continue.
Oh no, you were gonna.
No, I like how you said it.
I didn't even finish what I was gonna say.
But anyways, like I said, I knew we were gonna get the hard stuff coming back in these episodes. So I know it's been frustrating for the liars fans, because they're like, oh my god, this is so slow, we're not getting anything. You gotta wait, girl.
You gotta wait.
We got what, 4 more weeks?
Yes, man. Only 4 more. It's crazy to think.
And then after this, after this episode, it'll be 3 more.
Yeah, 3 more. So I mean, we are officially at the end of June. We are done officially with PLL, at least for the time being. You never know, might come back with a movie or something like that. May come off with a spinoff for a couple of the other liars. You never know. But nevertheless, I'm more and more excited each episode just to continue to get more answers. So I can't wait for 7/17.
I'm so excited, just like the Flash.
So I can't wait. And don't forget to leave leave your comments for us. We love reading them and seeing
I
them.
know,
And
they're so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, we love seeing your comments. And then like we always say, we like to hear your theories too. So if you agree, you disagree, let us know. We're having a
Yeah,
blast
and
with
I
those
need a full blown theory about this whole Lucas and Cece thing because I'm so confused. So if you got some answers, let me know.
Yeah, give her some answers. I'll try to give her as much as I can, but everything I tell her just goes in one ear and out the other. So
Because
maybe
apparently I've seen all these sneak peeks
so
and I
maybe,
didn't know.
So maybe you have, you little jerk.
think I did.
I love you, Shabata. And we
I
love
love
you
you.
guys too.
Love you.
So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.